Hello, welcome to this full moon in Pisces video with your sun and rising signs. This is for August 30th, 2023, and this is of course when the moon opposes the sun. And if you're new to me, welcome. My name is Sarah Waggle. I use astrology and spiritual tools and coaching tools to support others on their healing journeys. Welcome to my channel. I thank you so much for joining me today, and welcome to the full moon in Pisces. Well, like I said, I'm Sarah Waggle, and I use astrology, coaching, and spiritual tools to support others on a healing journey. And just a few housekeeping things before we dive into the sun signs and forecast for this full moon in Pisces. In the links below in the description box, you can follow me on socials. I typically post daily tarot videos. However, those are on hold this week due to me attending back-to-back retreats in 2 different locations. So I am healing myself this week and doing a lot of my own introspective work. However, you can still follow me on Instagram. I'm there live daily at Sarah Waggle. TikTok, I do the daily tarot, and I do a few other videos, including the blind nomad journey on TikTok. So you have those options. I'm also on Threads if you want to catch me on Threads. I do occasionally post a text nugget there. You can book a reading with me. You can get a written report of your natal chart, and I can give you important dates and things that you may be experiencing as transits come past your natal chart. You can also listen to my guest appearance on the Hearts Unleashed podcast, where I talk about breaking up with your victimhood, and that link is below. And yes, I am available for public speaking and guest speaking appearances virtually and in person. So I'm available for podcasts and in-person speaking, depending on location and date and those sorts of things, of course. But I am available for those things. And you can join me on the Awakening Spirit Collective. That is a monthly membership, and I have collaborated with Lisa Almquist for that. There are several of us who have partnered up with her to support all of us through this journey. We have there are all kinds of monthly videos and tools, resources to support you through the journey, including oracle readings, chakra dance, all sorts of different things, coaches. There's also a monthly conversations where we talk about different topics that are coming up and usually related to astrology, of course. And Lisa is amazing at what she does, and she's an awakening spirit mentor. And of course, thank you for joining me, following me, sharing my content. I appreciate your likes, and I definitely appreciate your comments. I would love to know in the comments if, the stuff that I present resonates with you and anything like that. And please drop me a subscription. I appreciate that as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, and let's move on to the new moon, or the full moon. All right, here's an energetic overview of this full moon in Pisces. It's conjunct Saturn. And so full moons are typically illuminating the thing that needs to be released in order to fulfill a new moon intention or even an eclipse intention. So we could still be working with eclipse energies from earlier this year. But I do think that it's important to point out that whatever you may be trying to release or wanting to release or needing to release during this full moon may be restricted. So you may have some stubbornness around it. There could be circumstantial reasons why you can't release the things that you need to or want to release. But there's definitely going to be some restriction. However, there also may be like the illumination of your own sovereignty or authority or responsibility, especially this being Virgo season. I definitely think there's just some tightness around or stickiness around whatever is being illuminated to be released. Maybe you don't really want to release it. You're not ready to move to the next level up. And so that could be around it too. embrace the adjustments that need to be made in order to move forward with your intentions, or to, embrace what's going on in life. Yeah, and this is where, like, you could lessen the stubbornness or lessen a lot of the restriction you've put upon yourself by simply embracing, okay, I need to shift that because this is happening or that's happening. So it's time for me to really let that go. And, maybe it's become a student again, as a student at life, right? Not just necessarily like going back to school student, but relearning. So unlearning how to do something and then relearning how to do it a different way might be coming through. Relationships are still on the docket, of course, because because we have the North Node in Aries, South Node Libra. Mars is now in Libra. Venus is still retrograde in Leo. And so relationships are still very much being highlighted as we continue to move through these transits. So there's that confusion, throughout all of this. We have Mercury in retrograde, along with, 6 other cosmic bodies in retrograde. This is where questioning reality, what the heck is really real? What the hell is actually going on in the world? What can I actually believe? Who can I actually trust? Can I trust myself? And I think if you've been through any kind of a bad relationship, you've probably asked these questions before. How can I, and who can I, and what can I actually trust? What is really real? Was that all just an illusion? Has it all been an illusion? This is all Pisces themed energy, with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And so that's an overview of the energy around this full moon. All right, here's a look at the transits during and around this full moon on August 30th. Of course, we have Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, Venus, Chiron, Uranus, and Mercury in retrograde. So they're reviewing places where they have just been. Venus will go direct on September 3rd. However, Jupiter follows by going retrograde on the 4th. And so we will continue to have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cosmic bodies in retrograde until mid-September, when Mercury will go direct. So for the next few weeks, we've got a lot of really intense mental processing, transformative type of energy. Ongoing T-square between Pluto and the North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra. However, this square is loosening, and so we may have already gotten what we needed from it, but it will kind of persist until October, when Pluto goes direct. I'm still mentioning these Venus squares to Uranus and Jupiter. The next, we're kind of in the middle of the Jupiter-Venus square. It's kind of ongoing since August 21st and will persist until September 16th. So definitely be aware of overindulgence, rose-colored goggles, overdoing it, any new relationships that might crop up. Could, any contracts could look too good to be true on paper and maybe not be. Uranus, Venus squared Uranus on July 2nd and again on August 9th, and that'll happen again at the end of September. And so just some things to be aware of, and maybe attentive to those dates as those transits finish up their journeys together. So those are the transits for this full moon. All right, here is the chart for this full moon. This is a blue moon because it is the second full moon for the month of August. This is known as the Sturgeon moon in the Old Farmer's Almanac. So let's take a look at this, because we have this full moon within 4 degrees of conjunct Saturn in Pisces. We have Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Chiron, Uranus, Venus, and Mercury all in retrograde simultaneously. Now, Venus comes out of retrograde on September 3rd. However, she is immediately followed by Jupiter going into retrograde. So we stay within this heavy retrograde energy until Mercury goes direct, but that's for another couple of weeks. So that much retrograde energy. Retrogrades just mean, we'll just take a look at Venus here. She got all the way up to about 28 degrees of Leo and is backpedaling to, I believe, 12 degrees of Leo before she turns and stations direct. So all of these degrees in Leo that she covered once, she covered twice, now she'll cover again. Hence the squares to the repeated squares to both Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. And so it's having us really reflect and review the things that we love, the things that light us up and things like that. And so it's no coincidence, therefore, that this Pisces full moon is conjunct with Saturn. The word that kept coming through for me as I was writing up the forecast for this full moon was sovereignty and finding our own personal authority. Saturn does rule over authority, restriction, responsibility, time. Therefore, having it here conjunct a full moon in Pisces, it's kind of, pointing out the idea of what of yourself, like, are you taking authority, taking responsibility for, and what sorts of ideas or material possessions and or people do you need to release in order to take full responsibility or take authority over your life. And this can range from the simplest, cleaning up your daily routines to letting go of some old beliefs or old systems that you've been practicing. And so that you can have the space to bring in people who are more supportive, or to have systems in place or routines in place that are more supportive of this life that's changing rapidly as we move through this energy. And so I would invite you to think about that as we move through the sun signs, is think about what are you not, what is the resistance around you releasing the things that are keeping you from being sovereign, being responsible, being your own personal authority in your life. All of these retrogrades, all of these transits work together. There's a lot going on at the same time for a reason. It's all working together to slow you down and point out, and almost putting a magnifying glass on, especially with Venus squaring off with Jupiter extensively. It's putting a magnifying glass on those things that you are resistant to release, or we are, each of us individually, myself included, resistant to release in order to invite in something new or invite in some new people that can be supportive of what your transformation is, what's transforming in your life right now. So this full moon occurs on August 30th. It's going to peak at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, so adjust for your time zone, of course. It's going to be conjunct with Saturn, as I mentioned. 7 cosmic bodies, 6 planets, and of course Chiron is an asteroid. And so restriction, responsibility, authority, and like I said, as I wrote those 3 words down, the word sovereignty was what was coming through. So that's some things to think about as we head into the rest of this lunation cycle and into today, your sun sign horoscopes. Let's have a look at the lunation cycle that we are currently in. Of course, we're experiencing that full moon in Pisces on August 30th. And then on the 6th of September, the third quarter moon square in Gemini. On September 10th, we have that balsamic darkening moon in Leo. I would love to know, drop me a comment if this information is resonating with you, if you're finding that this is accurate for you, that during that balsamic moon phase, which is about 2 to 4 days before the new moon, that you're feeling more fatigued or dehydrated, or, let me know if that's actually resonating with y'all. On the 14th of September, we have that new moon in Virgo. That's going to be an interesting one. That is right before the final dose of Jupiter or Venus square Jupiter, as well as Mercury, right before Mercury stations direct. So that's going to be an interesting new moon on the 14th. On the 22nd, the first quarter square moon in Sagittarius. And then we have that full moon in Aries on the 29th, which is the same date as the third Venus square Uranus. And so we do have some spicy moon cycles occurring. And so, but that's an overview of the lunation cycle for now. Hello Aries, this is your forecast for the full moon in Pisces on August 30th, 2023. This is for Aries, Sun, and Rising. Aries, Sun, and Rising. This full moon is happening in your 12th house, which is karmic cycles, its endings, its duality, all of those things. And so you could be breaking through a karmic cycle. Something could be ending for you. An old habit, an old behavior, an old belief system. Maybe an old relationship has finally had its karmic cycle and it's coming to an end. Could be many different things, but there definitely could be something coming to an end. You also could be resisting it. You're not ready for it to end. Maybe some stubbornness around it. However, I think it's a matter of embracing some of embracing letting go the old so that you can have the new things that you've been exploring, discovering, and all of those sorts of things. Hello Taurus, Sun and Rising. This is your forecast for the full moon in Pisces on August 30th, 2023. This is for Taurus, Sun and Rising. All right, Taurus, this full moon in Pisces is in your 11th house of groups, communities, and technology. And so what I feel for Taurus is they may have some sort of hang up or old stories around a group or community, or even the use of technology. Maybe it's social media even, that may be coming up to be cleansed or purged or released during this full moon. And it really feels like maybe you had been a part of a group or a community and kind of got a bad taste in your mouth, and now it's time to revisit this area. Maybe, like I said, it could have been social media, it could have been virtual, it could have been, just a local group or community. Maybe it was even a mom's group that you were a part of. They're like, I don't want to be a part of that again. And something's sort of moving you towards being a part of that again, but you've got some resistance around it. That's what I feel like this is for Taurus with the full moon in the 11th house of groups, communities, and technology. So that's what I have for Taurus, Sun, and Rising. Hello, Gemini, Sun, and Rising. This is your forecast for the full moon in Pisces on August 30th, 2023. Gemini, Sun, and Rising. Hello, Gemini, Sun, and Rising. This full moon in Pisces is happening in your 10th house of career, work, goals, public achievement, etc. And so you could be releasing something about your career, your income earning path moving forward could be what is in focus for you. Maybe it's something around you are shifting careers, you are changing your mind as Geminis do. You could be clearing some space. Maybe you had a possible promotion and you're not taking it because you want to pursue something else. Whatever it is, it's a shift in your career, a shift in your goals, a shift in your achievements that's leading you towards something grander. I feel like Geminis have really been through a lot of transformative energy, so you may not even be the same person you were a year ago. And therefore, it's time to career change, or your goals to, move upward have shifted. And so change of job, maybe a lateral move. That's what I'm feeling for Gemini for this full moon in Pisces. Hello, Cancer, Sun, and Rising. This is your forecast for the Pisces full moon on August 30th, 2023. This is for Cancer, Sun, and Rising. All right, Cancer, Sun, and Rising. This full moon in Pisces is happening in your 9th house of belief systems, philosophies, gurus, higher education, long distance travel. And there's something potentially holding you back from moving forward in whatever one of those areas. Maybe it's a relationship, perhaps it's just your belief system, your fears around something. Maybe it's your fear around long distance travel. And definitely that's going to be illuminated. And there could be resistance around letting that fear go or that restriction go within yourself. Maybe you're being stubborn about it, but it's something around this area of your life. And an opportunity could be on the other side of you releasing the stubbornness, the fear, the resistance to your beliefs, expanding your beliefs, shifting your philosophies, stepping into higher education. Maybe it's time to pursue that PhD. Or maybe it's time to travel abroad, and the opportunity that you've been waiting for is on the other side of the fear of you traveling. So just some ideas, thoughts, but that's what I'm feeling for the Pisces full moon for Cancer, Sun, and Rising. Hello, Leo, Sun, and Rising. This is your full moon outlook for the Pisces full moon on August 30th, 2023. This is for Leo, Sun, and Rising. Leo, Sun, and Rising. This full moon in Pisces is happening in your 8th house, which is financial and or intimate mergings. Could also be psychological transformation type of energy. So your release could be around maybe a fear of getting involved with a financial agreement or even an intimate agreement with a partner. You could also have some resistance around making major life changes. By that I mean psychological life changes, things that can shift your very being. 8th house is very deep, and that could be where this full moon is leading you, is to really look deep within yourself to see what changes you can but don't want to. Maybe resist changing around yourself for what's coming next in your life. So that is what I feel for the Leo, Sun, and Rising for this full moon. Hello, Virgo, Sun and Rising. This is your outlook for the full moon on August 30th, 2023 in Pisces. This is for Virgo, Sun and Rising. All right, Virgo, Sun, and Rising. This full moon is occurring in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, co-workers, balance, etc. And this is your opposition. And so this being conjunct Saturn, your immediate opposing house on your first house, Virgos are definitely going through it right now. But there could be something coming up around relationships, friendships, coworkers, partnerships of any kind. And this could be people, this could be stuff, like maybe it's a relationship to things that you have that don't serve you anymore, but you're unwilling to let them go. But mostly this is usually related to people, coworkers, friends, partnerships, those sorts of things. Could be romantic partners, does not have to be. But those are definitely going to be highlighted. And you already may be seeing it, with the nodes in Libra, Aries. You may already be experiencing a lot of relationship upheaval or shifting. And I definitely think that this full moon is going to put a magnifying glass on it, and it's going to make you want to resist it. However, I think it's with any of the signs right now, I think it's a matter of seeing the forest beyond the trees, right? We can look at the trees and be like, oh, the trees are pretty, but the forest on the other side may not be so pretty. And so getting past those trees, or maybe the front trees look really, gross and dead and whatever, but on the other side, there's like these green foliage and things like that. So it's letting go of relationships that aren't serving, relationships that aren't bringing you to the next level, and moving forward to the next relationships, partnerships, new coworkers, new friendships, new, things like that. So that's what I got for Virgo. Libra, Sun and Rising. This is your full moon outlook for the full moon on August 30th, 2023 in Pisces. This is for Libra, Sun and Rising. All right, Libra, Sun and Rising. This full moon is occurring in your 6th house of daily habits, daily routines, health habits, work routines, work habits, etc. And so you may be noticing things around your daily routines that are up for examination, that are being illuminated, and maybe it's an opportunity to assert yourself or to be more assertive in what you actually need to do your daily practices, whatever those may be, whether it's spiritual practices, exercise, nutrition, maybe it's getting things done towards work related things, etc. But because this is conjunct Saturn, there's resistance around it. Like maybe you don't really want to improve your daily routines. Maybe you don't really want to take a look at your health. And so there's definitely some stubbornness, but there's also that opportunity with it being a full moon to really see what is being shown to you that you can shift and change and take it little by little, step by step, to shift your practices, how you maybe perform each task. Do you try too hard to multitask and it's being shown to you that multitasking is less efficient? And or vice versa. Maybe you are, one task at a time, and maybe multitasking is better for you. 6th house to me sometimes is about being efficient, and yet sometimes we have to unlearn something in order to learn a new practice or a new way of doing things. But like I said, with this being conjunct Pisces, or conjunct Saturn in Pisces, there's definitely some resistance around it. So where can you step into your sovereignty, your own authority, being responsible with your daily practices and routines to support yourself? This is for Libra, Sun, and Rising. Scorpio, Sun, and Rising. This is your outlook for the full moon happening on August 30th, 2023 in Pisces. This is for Scorpio, Sun, and Rising. All right, Scorpio rising. This full moon in Pisces is happening in your 5th house, which could be anything from heart-centered desires to childlike playfulness to inner child wounds. This full moon is conjunct Saturn in Pisces. Could be you redefining yourself. Maybe you have released an old wound. Maybe you're learning a new version of yourself or new ways to comfort your inner child. Maybe things are changing rapidly in your life that you have to learn new practices. Maybe it's learning to have fun, and maybe it's unconventional fun. I feel like with Scorpio, fun is different than for any other sign. And I actually looked up to see if H.H. Holmes was a Scorpio or a Scorpio rising. He is not. He does not have any Scorpio in his chart. But why I thought that was H.H. Holmes, they said that he enjoyed killing people. And if you haven't read it, read The Devil in the White City. Great book. But so I was shocked to find out that he is not anything of a Scorpio. He does have Chiron and Aquarius. But anyway, I digress. My point is I feel like for Scorpio, fun or heart's desires are very different than for other people. And so what you may find fun, entertaining, and that brings out your inner child playfulness may be completely unconventional and may seem boring or tedious or weird for any other person around you. And so this could be with all this relationship energy we've got going on. This really could be like, leading with your heart and therefore letting go of old versions or old people who don't get it, don't understand it, and it's okay that they don't. Or maybe it's learning how to embrace being with those people and still allowing yourself to be yourself, to be authentic, to embrace that inner child playfulness that you hold within. So this could be very interesting for Scorpio risings. Sagittarius, Sun, and Rising. This is your outlook for the full moon on August 30th, 2023 in Pisces. This is for Sagittarius, Sun, and Rising. Sagittarius, Sun, and Rising. This full moon in Pisces is happening in your 4th house, which is home life, maternal instincts, mothering, motherhood, emotional intelligence, foundations, those sorts of things. So you very well could have some resistance around managing your emotions. Maybe you have some resistance around healing some foundational wounding, or you may be having some issues dealing with some home life or foundational situations or issues that may be presenting themselves. Maybe you don't know how to have those conversations, or you're resistant or hesitant to having conversations about your home life situation. So could be anything that in those areas of maternal, mothering, motherhood, emotional mastery or emotional intelligence, home life situations. This could be a really difficult full moon for a Sagittarius rising, just because emotional intelligence is kind of a more challenging topic, but also tackling situations at home, because that could be related to family members. Maybe it's rebuilding or reestablishing a relationship with your mom or with your children if you're a mom. And those can often be sticky conversations, especially with Mercury and Venus in retrograde. So definitely be kind of precautious, very choosy with words and how you present whatever it is that needs to be talked about or dealt with. However, this could also be, again, just you addressing and discovering new ways of managing your own emotional well-being. And maybe it's managing your emotional well-being and then discussing that, or, admitting that to members of your household, that you actually do need to express your emotions more fully, so that you can move that kind of energy through your body more effectively. So that's for Sagittarius, Sun, and Rising. Capricorn, Sun, and Rising. This is your outlook for the full moon on August 30th, 2023 in Pisces. This is for Capricorn, Sun, and Rising. Capricorn, Sun, and Rising, this full moon in Pisces is occurring in your third house, which is mindset, communication, specifically written communication, but Mercury is retrograde. So this could very well be any kind of communication. And I feel like you may be holding some stuff back that you haven't shared with those closest to you, or those who maybe need to know. Maybe your mindset has shifted. Maybe your self-worth has shifted. Maybe something about you has shifted. And so learning how to express yourself, learning how to express what you may be experiencing around those who need to know, may be what this Pisces full moon is revealing. And there may be some hesitancy depending on what you may be experiencing. Maybe you're afraid of the people not listening, or you're afraid of what you are sharing that's completely out of this world. I know some Capricorns who have been through it in the last 15 years. And so what they may be experiencing could be something that most people may not be open to hearing. And so perhaps this is starting a journaling practice, just so that you can get those thoughts out of your head and, create space for new things. Perhaps this is a mindset shift that, you're not willing to make, or you're struggling to make. Like, you want to pursue something, but you can't build up your confidence to do it. And maybe this is the knock on the head that you need. But I do think there is a struggle or a stubbornness or resistance around communicating whatever it is you've been experiencing as of late. And it's communicating to those closest to you. So something to take a look at, Capricorn, as you move through this full moon in Pisces. Aquarius, Sun, and Rising. This is your outlook for the full moon on August 30th, 2023. The full moon is in Pisces. This is for Aquarius, Sun, and Rising. Aquarius, Sun, and Rising. This full moon in Pisces is happening in your second house of self-worth, your value, money and finances, etc. I feel like this could be a very tough moon for an Aquarius, Sun, or Rising. because there may be some struggle around your self-worth, around showing up authentically, being who you are, your strange nature, your intellect, all of your abilities, but you're really struggling to authentically express yourself and be who you are. You're feeling maybe constrained by those around you who kind of maybe doubt you or think you're crazy or something like that. But this full moon square or conjunct with Saturn in Pisces in your second house, I feel like this could really put you on the struggle bus. And so I would really invite you to connect in, ground in with your feet and connect in with your higher self to really move through this gracefully and compassionately with yourself as this full moon really illuminates your second house. And I know Aquarians can really be, can really struggle with feeling valued, feeling worthy in this life. And I think it's important to recognize and acknowledge that the Aquarian persona or the Aquarian characteristics or archetypes are necessary. Your weirdness, your intellect, your values, your strangeness is meant to be here, is meant to be a part of this. However, I really can feel that Aquarians could really struggle with this full moon. So be around people who can support you, be around people who love you, who can allow you to be authentic, allow you to open up yourself. Aquarians do love humanity. Aquarians do love to be around other people, but sometimes they resist it because the people around them aren't maybe open enough to hear where an Aquarian is coming from. And so that's where I feel like it's a matter of being around the right people to support you through this full moon in Pisces. Pisces, it's your full moon in Pisces on August 30th, 2023. This is the outlook for Pisces, Sun, and Rising. Pisces, Pisces Sun, Pisces Rising. This full moon, of course, is in your first house, conjunct Saturn. So lots of illumination, however, illusion, constraint, restriction, struggling with your personal authority, struggling with your sovereignty. You may be waking up to an illusion, something that you've been experiencing as of late that's turning out to not be what you thought it was, and now it's time to find your way out. But how? What's the next thing? I feel like Pisces can tend to be less present, and therefore maybe the clarity comes with this full moon. However, the action that needs to be taken or is required to be taken may not be able to be taken immediately based on Saturn being present in this full moon. And so I really invite you to journal, meditate, and really be physically present in the world and see what's really going on around you in your immediate world. How you are showing up there. Are you fully present? Are you checked out to avoid it? Those sorts of things. How do you appear? Do you appear healthy? Do you appear strong? Do you appear how you want to appear? Maybe your appearance is an illusion. You put yourself out there one way, but in reality, you're not that way. And that may be the illusion that you're waking up to is, gosh, am I really putting myself out there authentically? Or am I hiding some part of myself? However that may look for you. I feel like this could be a very confusing, it's going to be confusing for all of us, but for Pisces, I feel like it could be even more confusing just because it's in their first house. It's conjunct Saturn, and that's just where they are right now. So Pisces, practicing discernment, practicing being fully present in your world, in your immediate world around you, and really maybe even some mirror work to see how others see you, so that might give you some clues as to what's next. So this is for Pisces, Sun, and Rising. And thank you so much for joining me for this full moon in Pisces forecast. I really appreciate it. Please see the links below to the Hearts Unleashed podcast to book a reading with me. You can join the Awakening Spirit membership, as I mentioned. And please like, share, and comment. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your likes, and I appreciate you sharing my content. And I really do appreciate you taking a look at my video, and hopefully you got what you came for. I'll see you on the next forecast.